No, perfect.
Nope, I cannot hear you.
All right, I'm just waiting for Wes to jump on, then we'll kick off. So yeah, man, let's just chill for a minute. Been a super busy day in the studio today. We've got X, you recording, yeah? Yeah, X must be recording because mic's on. All right, yeah, been a super busy day already. To be fair, we've had crypto stashing. I know some of you may be familiar with Crypto Stash, but he's a content creator and an influencer in Web3 gaming. He's a really cool dude. He came through. He's talked to a few individuals from the studio, got some footage. We filmed a little thing with him and Colin on stage and Hooli, a little interview. And also, he may be featuring in one of the upcoming episodes of the next saga that's upcoming. So yeah, big shout out to Crypto Stash, top dude. Really impressed by what we're doing, and it was actually really kind of blown away, and very kind of complimentary of not only where the game's going, but where everything else is going around it in terms of story, lore, development of the world. And we give him a bit of a nice insight. So hopefully he shares that some of you. I think we've also got Bite Dancing right now. Don't know if any of you are familiar with ByteDance. I probably shouldn't have told you, but they're in the studio right now. We're doing some demos with them. They're the guys behind, guys and gals and people behind TikTok. So that's a really positive thing. And the funniest thing is we have a meeting coming up with the Real Zuck Corp too. Yeah, so I'll give you a bit more information on that. I was like, I don't know how we're going to answer the question about Meta Zuckbot or when that meeting happens, but hopefully they understand it's all in humor.
I'm still curious to see how that goes.
All right, we got Obi Bunk and Obi. All right, so let's kick things off. And sorry, I've not actually been on the last two reverse AMAs. I think one time I was having my teeth fixed, and then the second time I was ill. So I went back to. I was after just before New Year. I went back to the UK, and I got COVID again for like the third or fourth time straight away. Like literally a day or two I was there, I got it, and I was literally out of commission for about 1.5 to 2 weeks. And then as soon as I was better, I was back on a flight to LA and back here. So I just got back in the studio on Tuesday. So sorry if you missed me. Hopefully West was taking care of you. I know anybody joining just missed out on some major alpha as well. But thanks firstly, for being such a kick-ass community, understanding and supportive. You guys and gals and peoples and hooligans are the lifeblood of My Pet Hooligan, and there's absolutely nothing we won't do to try and make you all proud and happy to be a part of what we're building here. Sky's too close to being the limit of what we're out here to do, and the show's always got to go on. And now it looks like I'm about to deliver some bad news, but I'm not. There's way too much good shit going on here to be delivering any bad news. This is all kind of positive things we move forward on, and some lessons to be learned. But yeah, been a busy time already. But a few things to talk about today. I've been noticing chat. I've been seeing some questions coming through. We do want to talk about Zuckbot's contract migration. I just mentioned a little bit about that in the announcement. If you've not read that, I will cover that again. There's been some questions around where we're at with fundraising. I could talk on some of that, specifically token round and where we're heading with the Series A. Community support and engagement. Definitely want to talk about that. Everyone's got to remember here that we're all ambassadors and we're all part of the team. Everybody who's part of this community is part of the team, and every single voice, every single bit of engagement, everybody shouting, it all helps. So big shout out to everybody who's doing the thing. And when we see communities like Bored Apes thrive, it's because of the value that the community put into it as well. Their success is down to a number of things. They do some great stuff. They're very good at execution, but one of the most important things is the die-hard kind of cultish like community who are always driving and behind them 100 million%, making sure they're seen and heard across the world. I've actually got a Mutant Ape hoodie and I was wearing it yesterday in Cheesecake Factory, and somebody commented on it, and I was thinking, well, there's going to come a point in time when they're going to comment on the My Pet Hooligan one as well. And although people do when we're at events, etc., and actually when I was up in Manchester, I went to a blockchain event and there was an individual there wearing a My Pet Hooligan hoodie, which was quite surprising, but very very well welcomed. There will come a point in time where that's going to be us as well, and we've got to make that happen. And I don't see any other way for it because we're doing a fucking great job with a lot of things. We kind of pushing for a global brand awareness with what we're doing. Our characters, our hero characters, they're cool. They're really fucking cool, and I think they really have that mass appeal behind them. So definitely want to talk a bit about community support and engagement, particularly around, whilst we're talking about token rounds, the Series A. And we're talking to a lot of big companies out here, even outside of the kind of blockchain and crypto world. They will look into us. They'll look at our Twitter. They'll look at the community in Discord. They'll kind of look at where the vibes are at, and kind of use that as a gauge of where their interest levels are at. And thankfully, we're a really strong community, and we have a massive amount of support. Even though there's sometimes challenges. Everybody's really kind of committed to helping work through them, and we're always happy to take feedback and critique. It's part of the game, it's part of learning, it's part of developing, and it's part of growing. So big shout out to you all on that. Another thing I want to discuss is royalties, specifically on Zuck Corp items. I'd be interested in getting your thoughts and opinions on lowering those. I know there's 7.5% right now, but given the activation with the parts and the build, well, I don't know if I'm going to leak that info, but potentially building of other bots using these parts, I don't want kind of royalties to be a factor that off-puts individuals buying or kind of selling or trading these things. So let's definitely touch on that. Another couple of things I want to touch on is, we did leak a video around some kind of AI innovation going into the rabbit hole. So I'll try and see what we can tell you about that. And finally, I want to touch on Alpha 2.0. And, as we discussed, we're going to launch that at GDC with one of our partners. But we should hopefully have an earlier version ready for you sooner than that for holders only. So we'll look to talk about that on next week's AMAs. Beta's being lined up for E3, and we're in the process of ink. I believe the ink's probably dry now, but we should have a huge partner that are bringing us on board with that, and actually bringing us on board to their platform. All I'll say is it begins with an A. So can't leak everything because everyone has ways of making announcements. You have to go through formal procedures and processes with these people. They're not all kind of degens in this world, but what we've got coming with Epic and this other new partner and other partners, it's going to be absolutely huge. So lots happening in the background that will be kind of announced with a wider push, but expecting some press around completion of the token round, Series A, new partners and advisors. I think that's all the stuff I want to talk about today. Probably covered some of it already within that because I dwelled on it too long. But let's start with contract migration. All right, so I just put out an announcement, but there's a couple of things. We've got the Zuckbot contract out right now. We did need to migrate it to a new version to take care of some of the upcoming activations that we've got going on. Specifically the upcoming phases and some new activations. Ultimately, when you deploy a contract, you cannot change the contract. You can't change blockchain code once it's live. So if you do have any ideas of things you want to do in the future, you can't do it without taking down the contract and migrating to a new contract. It's fairly common. It's not uncommon at all, and a lot of projects do it as they want to kind of deliver more activations that they didn't originally kind of think about. And we think about a lot of things up front, but we always have new ideas and new things we want to bring to the table and new things we want to innovate on. So there was always a necessity for us to do this. But recently we discovered that there is a bit of an issue with the distribution of Zuck boxes on Keyburn. So I'd say over the last 48 hours ish, anybody who's been burning a key, they've not had a kind of fair and equal shot at getting a Zuck box, and in most cases have just been getting QTs and legs. That's not how it should work. There should pretty much be a 1 in 3 chance of getting a Zuck box, a QT, or a leg. So we need to issue. One sec, I just need to mute somebody here. All right, so where was I? Anyway, so we noticed we need to make a fix to that. Essentially, if I've got my notes to hand, I did actually make some notes for this one. Normally, it's always a few bullet points, but basically, there's a variable has kind of hit a limit on issuing the Zuck boxes, so we need to make that fix, and it's a fairly simple fix, but it can't be done without. You can't edit the contract, basically. So we have to pause the function to burn keys and develop and migrate to the new contract. But what we want to do is kind of kill two birds with one stone. And what we were originally going to do with the migration of contract, get that done, also apply the fix, and then redeploy. It won't affect anybody's holdings. It won't affect much. It won't even affect kind of like where the volume's at. That can be ported over by OpenSea. So there won't be much of an effect on you all. The listings pages will still be live until we actually migrate over, and we'll let you know when we're going to do that. So you can still buy and sell and do whatever you want with those Zuck bots. So that's in the process. We'll get you a timeline on when that new contract's ready to be issued. But between now and then, we will unfortunately have to pause the key burning just because we want to ensure that it is completely fair and everybody does have the 1 in 3 chance of getting a Zuck box. Rather than wait and a few weeks pass and we've not been able to issue the amount of Zuck boxes we need, because everything has a purpose. Every Zuck box has parts in it, and those parts will fulfill the purpose of phase 4, which, if you're not already gathered, is fairly simple to see. You will use those parts to build other types of bots. So what we don't want to do is kind of skew all the data now and then have to kind of run around trying to fix that on the back end. We want to just make sure it's right from now. So that's what's happening in terms of the contract. I've got a number of questions that I'm going to kind of ask myself in a rhetorical question style. But we'll give you more information on how the process of that works and if there's anything you need to do on your end. As I mentioned, you can't fix deploy a fix to a live contract because the blockchain code is final. But what we're going to do to make sure this doesn't happen again is, we'll be making many of the future functions in the smart contracts more modular, so we can still change some variables, such as the one that's kind of, stopping the reissuance of boxes. What else? So the other thing that's kind of been coming up, I've been seeing a bit of chatter around it, is the box burning and issuance of gears and potential. Some people have been saying there's an exploit. There's no exploit in that. Everything that's happening there is by design. There are a limited amount of gears. They're placed so they're minted, throughout the whole sequence of the box burning. Now there are decisions and kind of logic trees involved in this, and ultimately, like in most cases, yeah, you can use chainlink VRF, but nothing on the blockchain is kind of purely random. There are always kind of sequences and by which things work. So we've kind of like, there's a lot of feedback coming in saying, why did you not use chainlink VRF? These are all kind of options that we did consider. But I'm not a master of kind of probability and a mathematician, but I'll get you a little bit more info on that. But essentially, the way kind of it was described to us, by using a chainlink VRF, what could essentially happen is that a lot of the gears would be kind of distributed up front, or could be distributed up front, meaning that the later burns of boxes wouldn't actually achieve any of the kind of rarer items. We are going to explore this a little bit further, and we've consulted a number of devs on this, but we are going to explore it a little bit further with some more too, and just get a little bit more kind of clarity on, is there anything else that could be done? So no exploit there. It's by design. It's to ensure there is a distribution across the whole set of Zuckbox burning and not just kind of front loaded. I think that's what I wanted to discuss in terms of the contract migration. Probably a bit of a point for me to pause there. And I don't know if you want to say anything, Wes, but one of the things that we're doing is, what we're building here and what we're doing is the future, right? It's not we are doing innovative things. We're building contracts and activations and a game that are very kind of fresh and new, where there isn't kind of amassed amounts of learning to them or lessons learned, but every day there are, and these are just things that we need to learn from, and we just need to ensure that we put ourselves in a position where we're not susceptible to these things, especially kind of going into a launch of a game that does have some financial elements to it with ERC20 tokens. What I can say to that, however, is the way that the game development is working is that the majority of the kind of in-game transactions are internal ledger based and not on a blockchain per se, as in like a public blockchain. Whereas there is that interaction then between the game and the ERC20 token when you're either bringing in carrots or taking carrots out of the game. So a lot of that work can be edited and is not kind of subscribed to having to go through kind of major fundamental changes. And, thankfully we do have a very, very strong and capable team on that who are very well versed in game economies. So that's what I wanted to say on that. I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to add, Wes.
No. I think you covered it well. Pardon me, guys, if my dog's making noise. He just got fixed today, so I'm just hanging out here with him. I know he's kind of sad about that. But so just generally speaking, I think from each of these, we just we take it very seriously. We make it a point to make sure that we're learning from every even the smallest misstep. And we're obviously trying to juggle a lot at all times. But when it comes to this stuff, we're well aware how important it is, and we need to be executing well on it. So we've gone out of our way to make sure that we're getting the additional help and support for our entire dev team to make sure that that's just handled. So yeah, overall, I'm actually quite kind of happy for these flubs, because at least it makes us look ourselves in the mirror and just make sure that we're making ourselves better and taking the steps necessary to make sure that we're improving. So overall, good, but just I think you nailed it, man.
It's probably worth just kind of pausing. I don't know if anybody's got any views or opinions or kind of questions on that hopefully we can answer, or any suggestions if any. We're always looking to kind of beef up resources, within the game development side, also in the blockchain smart contract side as well. So we're always open. So if anybody thinks they know some shit hot people out there, definitely kind of bring them to the table.
And also, real quick, Skyhopper, I'll just say, Zugs. So Hooli definitely is not fixed, but Dennis, I appreciate it very much, man. I'll be sure to give Leroy a big old hug from the Carrot King. He'll appreciate it.
What happened? What do you mean Hooli's not fixed?
That was the next one. Zugs mentioned it. Don't worry about it.
All right. I didn't get it. I'm not looking at the chat.
You're good,
sorry. All right, cool. So if there's any questions, suggestions, jump off mute and tell us, or just DM me, please. Sometimes when I'm tagged in the general chat, I don't always see it. So my DMs are open. Just DM me. Just make sure that nobody weird is DMing you back. That isn't me. So I think most of you, quite a lot of you,
actually Luke Skyhopper.
Yeah, no, quite a lot. I speak to quite a lot of you individually on DMs, and I really value that, and it's very meaningful to have that one-on-one connection. I'm always kind of open to listen, always open to take any form of feedback, always open to take suggestions, and hopefully you see that and feel that too. So big shout out to everybody who I do speak to on a regular, almost daily basis from the community and the DMs as well. That's something I'm very committed to also. And that's part of our our community, our transparency, and the access that we want to ensure that you all as community members have to the team. And I hope we're definitely kind of doing well on that front. All right, next stuff. Really good news in terms of where we're at with. Let me just go back to my agenda here. Okay. All right. So there's been a lot of questions around where we're at with fundraising. I could talk about some of that. There's probably some stuff I can't really talk about, but yeah, we did have a token round for the Carrot tokens and the Lytron tokens, which, as you all know, are the Interloop native tokens, and the Carrot tokens, my Pet Hooligan game. We did have a token round for partners where we were wanting to bring in really strategic partners and not just any kind of money. There's two types of money in this world. There's intelligent money, and there's what the term is. I don't know if you're allowed to use this word anymore, but like dumb, stupid money, that is not really a massive amount of help, but is just some numbers on the board. Like when we look at investors, when we look at partners, we look at knowledge capital as well. One thing, money is capital, but another thing that is equally, if not more important, is knowledge capital. Like, who are you? What's your network like? What do you know about gaming? What do you know about the blockchain? And what are the lessons you've learned previously? Because what this helps us to do is amass a fountain of knowledge through individuals who have had various different experiences to what we've got, and have kind of seen things, rise and fail, and have kind of, seen all the risks and issues that can occur with things, and actually have that knowledge helping us to design some key kind of concepts for the game, and helping, have that second eye on things like the kind of token economy, the game loops, and how they work within the economy. So that's what we've kind of looked at. We're thankful to say that we have completed, unless there's a small, tiny amount left, but we have completed our token round, and we will announce who the partners are who have come in on that. And that's a really positive thing, and we'll definitely kind of bring value to where we're at with the Carrot token. So the token round, fundraising round is complete, and we're expecting to do a press release on that. We have recently started the Series A and have a couple of individuals already penned in for that, and we have significant amount of investment penciled in for that as well. I think I briefly disclosed one of the individual partners on that, which has been an absolute massive help for us. In that this, like I say, this network from some of these investors, and the exposure they can get us, and intros they can make us with other individuals, is massively important. So, thankfully, token round done, massive success. Series A underway, so far looking like it's going to be a great success too. And the partners that are coming in there will be announced via a press release. We were talking to our marketing team yesterday about that as well, and when we mentioned some of the names, like they were pretty ecstatic about it. Like everybody we were speaking to, and it's like I mentioned very early on. We've just I think the ink's about to dry on an absolutely massive partner that is going to kind of help distribute this game and get global eyes on it, that begins with an A. Like these opportunities, we're so grateful to get them. We're so grateful to have the opportunity to sit down with these kind of people and really show them what we're doing. And they're all over it, and we're so thankful to the team to be so innovative, being so kind of committed to the craft, developing, putting in the hours, putting in the passion behind it, because we're creating an absolutely incredible product here. And it's not just a game, it's the whole world around it. It's all the tools, it's all the technology around it as well. So I hope I've kind of covered that. I do want to say more. I do want to name drop some individuals, but I can't unfortunately do that because we have to make announcements based on processes, and we have to get their okay as well before we make them. And we want to make sure we make the biggest amount of noise we can with these announcements as well. So really positive news on that front, really positive big partnerships on the table. And, incredibly big partnerships that can really kind of push us to the global market and hopefully make us a household name as well. Right. So as I mentioned, one thing to note is we massively value all of your contributions. Whether it's just liking a tweet, whether it's kind of creating content. We've been seeing some incredible work recently from Spotted Risk, Playboy Stacks. It's massive to us. Just kind of seeing us giving you access to some tools and some files and seeing you kind of create your own shorts and own content with them. That's it feels absolutely fucking amazing, to be honest with you. And just definitely keep that up. Investors, partners are always looking at what we're doing. They might be watching for weeks or months, seeing, what's the community engagement like, what the vibes like, how well a video is doing on the socials. So definitely, every little bit you do always kind of helps. And, it's as a part of the team, don't feel shy to contribute and get involved. And that's what we want. We are one big family together. It's not an us and you. You are all part of our team. You are all holders of, Genesis My Pet Hooligans. You are a part of this team. You are essentially, a stakeholder and a very important stakeholder in what we're doing. So never be shy to raise your voice. Never be shy to get involved. Never be shy to give us suggestions. And never be shy to freaking click that like button either and retweet. You know what I'm saying? We want to be committed on our side as well, to start to, get our own personalities out as well. So one of the things that, we've definitely been seeing and we see with a lot of projects is that the founders are very, or kind of have their own little following and are quite active on socials as well. We've always kind of, as we don't have an individual founder of the project, whereas most projects do, they might have a founder and a co-founder who are public facing. Our project is founded by a company, so there's no individual that says, "Oh, I'm the founder of My Pet Hooligan." It is a company, it is a team. So it's a bit more difficult for us in that aspect. However, we do have a number of team members who are on Twitter. I've definitely been pushing that we all get a lot more active on that, whether it's thought leadership, whether it's leaks, whether it's just about us as individuals and kind of getting to know us. So the world can see what we're all about, and we can show different sides about what we're doing. So hopefully that's probably where some of these new leaks have been coming from. Everybody's in a competition to get out more leaks, but hopefully you're also seeing some of the improvements and some of the new features and things that we're putting into the game. So whether it be the really fucking improved UI, whether it be some of the new animations and kind of in-game collectibles, we want to kind of show you a little bit more about kind of what's happening on that side too, or whether it be the little AI piece we put out with Crystal Bond, which was also on the agenda to talk about. So let's talk about that a little bit. We know AI narratives really big, and we've not just done this because of the AI narrative. What often happens in the studio is somebody will come up with an idea, and like a couple of days later, we'll probably have a draft of what that could look like. So what we've and I don't know how to explain this because I'm not massively technical. I mean, I should be because I'm a computer science graduate, but it seems like I lost it. One sec, I just need to unmute some. All right, sorry, Zugs, I think I muted you. Yeah, I mean, I'm actually a computer science graduate, but I kind of like getting into. Before I studied computing, I was very passionate about programming and hardware and all that technical stuff. But when I started studying it, I kind of lost a bit of the passion for it. I don't know what it is. I think when something's your hobby, it's more meaningful to you than when actually somebody's trying to formally teach you something. And I've never been, the type of individual who can sit there and listen to somebody lecture for 3 hours. And unfortunately, in the UK, lectures are around 2 or 3 hours a piece. So I wasn't always kind of present at them. Thankfully, I did graduate with a very good grade, but I seem to have a skill of being able to to in the last few days before an exam cram a lot of information in my head and deliver an exam. So anyway, I don't know why I just went off on that tangent, but there's a little bit more you can learn about me. So yeah, what I want to talk about was AI. So we are kind of exploring AI concepts within the game. So what you will have seen on there, we're going to show you a bit more of, but essentially we've got a sentient AI. I don't know if sentient is the right word, but we've got
I don't know if sentient is the right word there.
Sentient is definitely not the right word. It's not like Skynet. We do have, and we're working on, some of our NPCs in the game having this AI technology by which you can actually talk to these NPCs, and you can talk to these characters in game like they're another human being, and they will answer you. So it's interesting, and we're gonna show you a little bit more about that. I don't want to say too much because I want you to actually see it happening in the flesh. So we have been demoing it, and it's amazing. It's like almost like we're having bigger crowds gathering around, wanting to speak to Crystal Bun than actually play the game. So
I'll say something about it. I think it's kind of interesting. For all of us guys, like this year, it's for us. We kind of have this ongoing theme of just like hardcore focus, making sure that the core products are getting maintained and built out and really executed on well. There's a lot that we're focused on here, but we try to keep like a 10% bandwidth open for essentially like new technology R&D. And luckily for us, we were able to specifically when it comes to AI models, we've been playing around with a couple different ways to integrate some of this tech, and it started to work out already quite well. And we can see a couple areas where it'll be a value add, and frankly, a few of the pieces of our tech stack. So it's something that's really fun for us to play with, and the cool thing is we'll be able to show you guys that soon, and you'll get to play with it too. So it's cool.
Yeah. So funnily, Crypto Stash came in, and
great guy.
Crypto Stash spoke to Crystal Bun, and he said, "Who is Crypto Stash?" And Crystal Bun said something like, "Crypto Stash is a legendary metaverse hacker who has joined the hooligans against their rebellion with Meta Zuckerberg." And you got some footage of that. That's cool as shit because we've not programmed Crystal Bun to say that.
Well,
but it's the use of it. The use of actual understanding our lore and the AI, and Crystal Bun's put it all together. It's crazy.
As we seed lore and story elements into these various bots and then play with those and figure out, game integration or story, like kind of larger story integration and other ways that people might be able to participate in the ecosystem just by communicating with some of these things and learning more about the lore. It's pretty amazing. I mean, I'm sure most of you here have probably played with ChatGPT, but even double clicking on that for a minute, there's a lot of potential there, and we certainly see ways where this will be a value add. So
yeah. And that's one of the things to remember about AMGI Studios. We're not only an animation and gaming studio, we're also a tech studio, and that where we focused on is what things can we bring that are innovative and different to the game, such as the facial motion capture stuff. Everybody's trying to do that now as well. This is just another kind of string to add to our bow of technology and features to enhance the gaming experience and actually deliver something that is fresh and new and actually makes use of all these new technologies without having to wait another 5 years to put something out. So it's really I'm happy we're able to kind of pivot and have that spare capacity to be able to work on these new things. And this might not be the last thing we come out with, so we just got to kind of keep cracking on and actually delivering things that can really kind of enhance the entertainment focus of the game. All right, I don't know what you're about to say there, Wes. All right, so what else have I got to cover? Okay, cool. Alpha, as I said before, Alpha 2.0 is going to be launched at GDC with one of our partners. That's going to be huge. We can't wait. GDC is around the end of March. Is that right? Yeah, it is. That's going to be massive. We will have an earlier version ready for all our hooligan holders. Sooner than that, we'll give you a timeline on that on Friday's AMA, but that could be coming really soon. Beta, as I mentioned before, is being lined up for E3, and again, will be presented by a very, very big company there. Once this ink dries, and that will just. We're just massively grateful and super excited by that. Anybody we're sharing this news with is just like going crazy about it. It's like, yeah, I don't know what to say, but I'm trying to basically tell you how excited I am without actually telling you anything else, which is pretty difficult at times. But it's massive for us. We're massively grateful for everybody who sees the value in what we're doing and the long term vision. And you know, we're in a great position, and I can't be kind of more proud of our wider team for that. The other thing I wanted to discuss, and this is more of a discussion point, is around kind of royalties on Zuck Corp items and just kind of royalties in general. You know, there's obviously ways to bypass royalties. Royalties are also, you know, can be important to, you know, the sustainability of any business's revenue. You know, thankfully we have been working on kind of token round and Series A, but you know, royalties are also important for, you know, artists, and one of the kind of, you know, reasons why blockchain art and crypto art and NFTs gained a lot of popularity is not just because, you know, the on-chain provenance. It was actually that, you know, artists would also be looked after. So, you know, obviously we saw the rise of platforms who wanted to compete with market share, that were literally doing away with royalties to kind of get some of that market share on their end. But now we're also seeing a bit of a fight back. Bored Ape, I believe, with their sewer pass, ensured that it wasn't able to be traded on certain platforms that were doing away with royalties, and therefore were able to get the royalties from that. So that there's various different ways of looking at this, but one thing in particular is, given our, you know, Zuck Corp items collection, it is kind of focused around items that will be gamified and items that you will need combinations of for various activations. I do believe that maybe, you know, there is a feeling that the royalty is a little bit too high on that. So I wanted to kind of get your opinions on that as a community. And, you know, I don't know, West, if you're looking at the chat, do have a look on that. And anybody who wants to kind of speak up on that, let's hear it out for sure, and let's see what we can do on our end.
I think they're mostly just leak.
They just want more leaks. Well, I've actually, but while somebody's ready to speak to us, I've got Sir Sweetness here.
I think you've leaked everything that you can.
Sir Sweetness is here right beside me, and he said he wants to start something called Wet Wednesdays, where he's gonna just leak loads of stuff out. Do you want to tell us? I'm not quite sure about the name of Wet Wednesdays, but
What's wrong with Wet Wednesday? I think it's a fantastic name.
all right, okay. So Wet Wednesday. So we've got
Nice and moist with all these leaks.
Yeah, can I get a royalty on Wet Wednesdays?
Wet Wednesdays royalties, yeah. So we've got behind the scenes Sundays, and now we've got Wet Wednesdays. I don't know what else is coming.
Yeah.
But I don't know if anybody's got any views on the royalty side of things, but open to hearing.
Yeah, OX Greek just speaked out. He thinks 5% fits into the Web3 ethos better, and that 7.5 is a bit greedy.
All right, fine. Thank you, Ox Greek. What do you feel about Zuck Corp items? Because my personal feeling, and you know, I'm not the boss of this company, but I was actually thinking for Zuck Corp items, like, it should be even lower than 5%. Don't kill me, anybody who's listening in that is from AMGIC. so
I think 5% fair from the community perspective. I mean, I don't think anyone's going to complain about lower, but I don't know. Someone who buys NFTs, 5% doesn't feel unfair.
All right, so
Electric, thank you, NFT, and appreciate that, man. Also, Electrify increased to 10%. All right, so getting a mixed bag from the community.
all right, fine. Yeah, no, because we do want people to be getting combinations of these things to be able to trade them, etc. So, you know, let's take that let's take that on board. Let's take that feedback on board, and we'll kind of, maybe touch on it next Friday, or issue a response on that beforehand. I think I've covered a shitload of stuff there. Anything I've missed, or any questions, or anything you want to talk about, Sir Sweetness or West? I don't know, Sir Sweetness, come here, man. All right, you talk to the. I've been speaking for like 40 minutes here.
So there's a great question in the Hooligans chat from Flying Falcon asking if we're scaling the team, and the answer is yes. We actually just hired a new game dev who has actually worked personally with Kevin Mack, and so having the Wizards' approval is huge, and it's actually freeing up the Wizard to do more of his magic.
Definitely the Wizards' power.
Yeah.
We're definitely upping the team. We know this team is going to grow and grow and grow as the game becomes bigger and more successful. So that's definitely a part of it. And this is essentially the start. Where in 5-10 years time we could be like 5 or 10 times the size. And bring it on. Things could get a little bit more hectic, but with good organisation, good management, that's what organisational structures and governance is there for. So the answer is yes, sir.
What's going on, y'all? If I can interject, appreciate it, man. Y'all, everybody doing all right today?
Good, man. How are you doing, bro?
Good to hear from you, man.
Yes, man. I'm really trying to be far more active in here when I can be, instead of just lurking in the Discord for damn near a year. But it's another one of these kind of technical questions, and I'm just curious. I have the utmost faith in y'all, right? So please don't take this any other way. It's more me just trying to get this conversation going. If something were to happen to AMGI and OpenSea or the other main platforms, what would happen to the NFTs themselves?
If something was to happen to AMG, well, basically, if anything happens to anybody, the blockchain is still there. So everything persists and exists. But we're definitely not thinking in those lines. But from a risk mitigation point of view, everything persists and nothing goes anywhere. It's on the blockchain. It's public, and that's that.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
Reason I asked that is I'm not sure if y'all are familiar with Club NFT or Jason Bailey, but the idea of on-chain versus off-chain metadata. And I know that nothing happens to the token that we all own. The token is on-chain, but none of the...
You're talking about the server that propagates the IPFS images.
Yes, sir. So when I did my wallet back up, they seem to be pointing to private servers, which makes a lot of sense based on where the company is at and when things began. But I guess I was curious how you all are thinking about longevity-wise any potential migration to back up these NFTs to IPFS, since putting things on chain can be prohibitively expensive.
Okay, cool. All right. So that's interesting. We'll probably get back to you on that, but that's an interesting thought. So I think there's two things to that: is can we bring everything on chain, and what might that look like in terms of kind of costs? And then the other side is there anything else we can do to ensure there is some form of disaster recovery system in place, right?
And just so you know, Savon, so that is something that we've been looking at as well. And then on top of that, one of the things that we're working on in the background as well is how metadata will play a role in some of the things that we might be able to do with our characters in the future in regards to the game. So I don't want to speak too much on it, but it is something that we're aware of, and we'd be happy to make sure that we can get you updates on sort of where we're at and what we're thinking, and maybe a roadmap of how we'll be rolling these changes out if and when that occurs.
So great question. Great things to think about for sure. So let us come back to you with a few options on that. And what we're doing, like, I'm not in the loop of absolutely everything going on. We do have a team that's dedicated on the server side as well, so I can definitely kind of touch in with them and see where they're at with it. So they're always looking at server side, disaster recovery, scaling, etc.
Certainly. Appreciate the question, Savon.
I think, do you want to say something?
Yeah.
All right, yeah. One of the things that we did touch on is, we are working on upgrading our website. We do want to kind of make it a little bit more of a game-centric focused website as well. And we are working on having our own marketplace in there too.
Big time. So those S carrots are finally going to be coming in handy. We've got some thoughts and some plans on that. But again, looking forward to sharing with you guys. So we know there's a lot of work to be done there, and it's currently getting.
In all honesty, there's a lot of work to be done absolutely everywhere. Like
it's one of those things. We've just kind of resigned ourselves to the fact that there's always lots to be done. So we just show up every day and try to just bust our ass.
It's absolutely not to be underestimated what it takes to do what we're doing. Like developing a game, developing all these tech and innovative tools and solutions. It's never to be underestimated. Like often people think, there's loads of people developing games. They say it's fucking hard work. I'm sorry for the F word, but it's ridiculously hard work, and it's ridiculously hard work. Everybody can make a game. It's ridiculous hard work making a good, fun game that's stable and actually entertaining and engaging. So there's a lot of work to be doing in every aspect. Not only are we doing that, we're always trying to push out fresh content. We're always trying to make these animated shorts. Like people do not make as many animated shorts as we do. Thankfully we're in such a capable position that we're able to do so. Otherwise, we might not be resigned to be doing anything for like 2 or 3 months at a time, like a lot of projects and a lot of companies do. But we're always committed to literally pushing ourselves to the max on a daily basis to provide the goods. So I do hope, that's kind of like not necessarily appreciate, but I do hope that it is understood that this is a lot of work we're doing, and there's still a lot of work to do. So we're always pushing ourselves to the absolute limit to ensure that all our execution and everything we do is top notch, and where we're not, how can we improve? And doing up our website has definitely been something that has been a focus of ours, and we're gonna we've already started moving into doing that.
Making sure that's
the tail end of last year. Yeah.
Pro rig. And by the way,
everything has to look good. Everything's got to look good. The website's got to look good. The game's got to look good. The content's got to look good. The UI's got to look good. Everything's got to look fucking absolutely incredible, because
Real quick, Skyhopper. Sorry to cut you off here, but I agree with everything you're saying. But just want to give Savon another shout out. Savon, dude, Savon's showed a couple links in the chat to his music, and just comment on that voice of his. So yeah, you guys get a chance, go check it out. Just wanted to give you a shout out there, buddy.
Savon, what would I've not listened to it. What's your musical style? You a singer?
Man, I was just trying to be in the chat, chill with it, but it's rap. But I would say it's like if Christopher Nolan and Murder Beats made music and then Kendrick spit on it.
Dude,
go. Come on, man.
Let's go.
It's like my boy. So why you're not getting on the My Pet Hooligan mixtape?
I asked about it. I feel like I may have said something in the chat, but it was like flowing so heavy, and everybody on the team was already doing such good work. I'm like, I don't need to crowd the pot, but I'll be honest, I definitely, am sitting on some crazy shit because I produce everything myself. I've been doing music.
We can help facilitate that.
Let's make something happen.
We'll facilitate that, buddy. No problem. We can sideline about that and make sure that we get
even like Two Hop seems to be doing every track these days. But Sir Sweet. So the Punk Bunny's tune is actually Sir Sweetness. So if you listen to that incredible punk rock voice, it's actually Sir Sweetness. So thankfully, we've got a host of freaking talent in the studio. We've got producers, whereas everybody's focused on making games, content, animation, development. It's like everyone's like kind of like a singer or a rapper or a producer as well at the same time. So I love it. Pretty cool. I've got about 10 minutes left, and I've got a lot of the community have been pushing me to speak to Lost Realms. So got to jump on there with Lost Realms at 3 p.m. And see what's going on that side. I don't know if anybody's familiar with them, but quite a few members of the community have been saying we need to chat to them. So we're chatting to them. Any other kind of questions or anything else coming up, West?
Can I take a minute?
Of course. Of course.
Actually, I was planning on taking 2 minutes, but I'm going to save one of the questions for Kevin for tomorrow. We have AMA tomorrow, right?
No, next Friday.
Oh, yeah, next Friday. Okay, I'm gonna save it for then. Anyway, just one question or kind of idea for you guys. Since everyone in the community is like expecting our game is going to have a lot of mini games, and maybe people will be even able to make their own mini games later on. What do you guys think about an idea that we would have a season in the game, let's say it's a 3-month season, and during this season there would be like a separate mini game league instead of just rankings in, let's say, Battle Royale. You would also have a mini game league where there would be randomly chosen mini games for each event where you either rank up or down, you gain points or not. And at the end of the season, let's say top 1000, top 100, top 50, and top 10 all get like different prices of skins or NFTs, whatever it might be, that have like super rare value.
I'm going to let Sir Sweetness talk about that since he's blessed us with his appearance.
So it's actually interesting you bring that up. We are planning on having somewhat of that implemented in the game. However, it will be quests with the factions, and you'll be able to rank up your faction street cred ranking by doing quests for whatever faction that you pledge allegiance to. And that will then, like the higher you get each season in your faction, the better rewards you'll actually have. And so it is kind of like what you just described.
All right, fantastic.
What's the question you've got for Kevin tomorrow? Tell us.
For Kevin tomorrow, I was actually planning on asking how centered is the user-generated tools approach still. Like we used to talk about it months back, but now I feel like many studios on the Web 2 side of things have also like woken up to how important it is because of Roblox and Minecraft succeeding for such a long time. And I think that in our game, being able to make your own skins, levels, maps, game modes, mini games, cosmetics, whatever it is, and perhaps even be rewarded by doing so. Yeah. I think it's the only approach. Everyone should be doing that in gaming today, honestly.
It was interesting because like some of the investors that we've been speaking to and partners, they've actually one thing that had come out of suggestions was that we allow Genesis Hooligans to actually kind of create skins, wearables, weapons, etc., and be able to actually sell them in the marketplace as well. So to add that extra benefit for Genesis Hooligans as well. So that was a really kind of interesting idea as well, because we do want to ensure that all our Genesis holders are really well looked after, and we've got a number of things we're working on in that respect as well, in terms of the game, and in terms of kind of carrots, etc. So yeah, great suggestion, and I'd be interested to kind of explore that a little bit further as well, and maybe test that with a focus group as well, kind of going into the game. What we want to ensure is that, although it be a free-to-play game, that, our holders, Genesis holders, feel like they're very well taken care of still.
All right. Yeah.
And who's better to consult than Genesis holders?
Exactly. I believe that in order for the game to have the most replayability, we need to serve as a kind of platform more than like only a narrative of a game. I think that's kind of a thought that Kevin implemented in my head many months ago. But I think that's the way to go, because everyone else seems to be like building their own narratives and only kind of limiting how much people can create. I don't think we want to be in that place.
100%. Very, very valuable ideas and opinions there. All right, I've got to go in a few minutes. Just want to quickly kind of give a few shout outs here. Shout out to Greek God. Thanks for some of the challenging questions you've been posing. I hope we address some of those. But I do want to say that every voice, every critique, every question is really, really important. Like, there's nothing that anybody who should ever shy away from asking, and nothing that we as a company should ever shy away from answering. So big shout out. Also want to give a massive shout out to NFTs as well. NFTs, we're always kind of back and forth in the DMs. NFTs, often alerts us to things that are happening, often provide suggestions and ideas, and very, very massively value what you help with NFT. So big shout out to you too, and big shout out to everybody because everybody's doing their own little part. Even by being in here, you do your part. Big up NFT and big up Spotted Wrist, big up Stacks, big up everybody. If I've missed you, I'll big you up next time. Big up LB.
You guys are the most amazing community. Honestly, we're constantly just inspired and grateful to all of you. Thank you so much.
Lifeblood of MPH.
Absolutely.
Never forget that. All right, I think we can probably wrap that. That was a good session. I think we got through a lot. There's definitely a lot of alpha there. Definitely a lot to look forward to. I do want to kind of get some of this big news out to you formally. We'll work on that, but it has to follow a process. But the team has been working their asses off in making something epic happen here, and I think you're all going to be incredibly proud of everything you've done and we've done together to help push this brand and game forward. A lot of big things coming, a lot of things to not be undervalued or estimated. So just watch this space. We're going to continue to work our asses off, regardless of what's happening in the market, in and around us. That's where our commitment's at.
We promise to keep showing up for you guys. We appreciate you all so much.
I have a quick question if I can get it in.
Let's go.
In regards to the migration for the Zuckbot contract, I guess two quick questions. One is that going to affect people claiming on the Hooligan? Or is that going to be paused or just the key burn?
No, it's just a claiming. Oh, so you're saying will it affect the claiming of a Zuck bot? All right, okay. I don't believe it will, but let me actually. It's a great question. Let me get some clarity on it.
Yeah.
And then the other one is just if you guys have kind of a timeline behind the new deployment of that contract. Is that something that's pretty much ready to go, or there's still some development needed before that's ready to go?
The fix is ready to go, but some of the other stuff around the activation we were working on that needs to be completed. So we'll get you a timeline on that soon.
Okay, all right, thanks.
But, yeah, good questions. But yeah, nothing should really be affected aside from the key burn right now. But good stuff. Let's get you a timeline on that. Anything else quickly?
Where can we join this chat that you're in, Skyhopper, or is it a private thing you're doing?
Say that again.
Where can we join the chat that you're in 2 minutes' time, or is it a private?
Oh, chat. Okay, the chat with Lost Realms. It's just I'm speaking with the founder. It's a guy called.
All right, it's not a Spaces or anything, no.
No, it's not Spaces. I'm just chatting to the founder of Lost Realms. They'll probably want to do a Spaces, which we'll explore. I don't know. Does everybody want to see Hooli Radio drop more episodes?
Sure.
Yes.
If that's what everybody's into, we can start that.
So what I do want to do, maybe something for next week is like a mega gaming spaces with a few different kind of gaming projects where we can just shoot the shit. Maybe Lost Realms is one of them. So yeah, open to doing that, getting that back on road. But I do want to start to kind of bring on guests that are not specifically just kind of blockchain games or projects. That want to show their projects. I think that's when it gets a little bit more interesting. So we do need to kind of think about that side of things as well. But yeah, hopefully you'll see a bit. What I want to do is get Hooli's own talk show going and get guests in. So the thing that we did with Crypto Stash might give a bit of a flavour of what we can do with that. So that's what I'd love to see and do.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have a feeling that's gonna continue to manifest here in not very much time. I feel like people are excited about that.
Make it happen. We just need some cool guests. Who we got?
I have a feeling that's coming down the pike.
Yeah, we've got. Who wants to be a guest on Hooli's couch? Hooli dentist for sure. Can fix his tooth as well whilst we're at it.
This isn't like a casting couch.
Yeah, casting. It's not a casting couch.
Make sure
I do wonder what the story is behind Hooli's tooth chip. Maybe we can explore that as well.
Bar fight.
He must have got knocked out. Yeah, exactly. All right. Thank you all. Big shout out to you all. Really appreciate absolutely every single one of you. Never will shy away from showing my appreciation or saying it. So big shout out to you all. I think that's it. I'm going to jump on this call now. Anything final from you, West?
Just love and appreciate you all. As always, guys, thank you so much for being a part of this with us.
Peace.
Later on, guys.
All right.